And of course, in the new vision, counterfeit producers, traders face huge penalties. And of course, Trade Ministry officials on the spot over 800 million fuel cards. Okay. Now, of course, workers. Okay, as we proceed in here, Government Catholic Church launched Karamoja University. Of course, you will be taking a look into that. And IGG probes irregular staff recruitment in Butaleja, as a result of that. Well, it's exactly 20 minutes past 7. You're still watching STARTIMES Business here. We into the press review. Of course, taking a look at what's happening. That is all about the press. And now African leaders agree on vision to tap youth talent. Still now, we are back to the East African. Of course, the 2-day Human Capital Development Summit attracted over 2,000 delegates from 44 nations, according to that. Okay, of course, Kenya, Uganda, as reviving the SGR project is seen here. And of course, the BRICS expansion jolts NATO to pivot, that is towards Africa. Of course, the Western Alliance is keen on checking Beijing's and Moscow's influence. That is for the entire world. The BRICS, I can see the different leaders in here. Putin, the President of China, Prime Minister of India, and so many more. Now, of course, we still see here from Zimbabwe, signs Zimbabwe elections results will be contested. Of course, starting to show. When you get yourself a copy of the daily, the East African, you will see that. Now, the United States also pushes its African allies to rebuff Iran. See, here some of that, and then the Sudans want Trudeau out of IGAD group as peace efforts, of course, stalled as a result of that. And now new technologies and trends in global payments. More of that. You find out what are those new trends. And that is when you get yourself a copy of the East African. And you'll be able to find out efficiently how they can actually operate. And how effective are they to that. And now ET beats COVID impact, of course, but turbulence persists. Of course, talking about Ethiopian Airlines successfully weathered the COVID pandemic by shifting its strategy, but Africa's only profitable carrier still faces faces sourcing parts, financial stability in some sort of a way. All right, I guess I come to the end. There are quite lots of stories, but of course, I've been just getting through the highlights in here. As we proceed in here, it's exactly 23 minutes past 7. Maybe just let me sum this up with a few aspects here from the Daily Monitor. Of course, here, the New Vision. What Uganda stands to gain from Russia and Serbia ties. You'll get to understand that and more. But of course, something to do with tourism is something quite very inevitable there to find out. Trade Ministry officials on the spot over 800 million fuel cards. Trade Ministry, oh my goodness. Somebody here says that I have had a fuel card for the past 6 years and had a 1 million consumption limit. That is per month. And still in line with that, but of course you can get yourself a copy to get further. This is quite a very interesting aspect. It looks interesting actually. You find out, dig it deeper. And counterfeit producers, as traders face huge penalties. Those that are involved onto that. And now, of course, coming in down here, we see that 95% of the school structures unsafe for learners. So we've had issues of child safety at the different schools. Of course, we saw the aspect of poisoning. The other time we saw attacks of terrorism in Kasese, and now structures. Hope we shall not hear something about a structure that collapsed and buried the school children in there. So these are quite aspects that cause parents to kind of worry a lot, and it needs to be checked out by the Ministry of Education and Sports. Okay. Right. Very interesting. Well, timber exports here continue despite Museveni ban. Of course, several companies involved in export of timber related unfinished products have ignored the June 2023 ban that is issued by the government, stopping them from cutting down trees. Of course, this is accompanied with the people that were denied the aspect of cutting the trees due to selling charcoal and all that, as Uganda is on to the move to transition to the use of gas and probably other alternative fuel sources to act as remedies, cooking home and all that. Yes, and now we come to the end of the press review. What's happening into the press? And right about now, before we get into the break, I'd love to remind you that the markets on the Zabo platform are going to be back today, and for you to be a part of them, it's quite very simple. *292# is the code, which will avail with options to be in position to buy these bond securities. Now the markets are going to be opening at exactly 8:15 a.m., running all the way to 3:15 p.m., and this is effective up to Friday this week. Yes, because the markets operate Monday up to Friday during that time, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when these markets cannot be accessed. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make some profits for yourself. Something which I believe is very key and instrumental when it comes to your personal growth and development, most especially you as a trader and the financial aspect of it. Also remember, on top of *292#, you have to register with your national identification number. Quite a very key factor. Now, Zabo says, my money, my future. The Vortex East Africa tells you, do something new for yourself. Remember, it is the year 2023. Well, right about now, let's get into a break. STARTIMES business gets a break, and definitely when we return, we shall be taking a look at what's happening on the East African community and also the international community, but all in matters of business. Stick around.